Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
The kettle's boiled, Vic.
Great. Perfect timing. Just a dash of milk for me, please, mate.
Here you go. Shall we get started then?
Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning and said, I'm never drinking again, and then found yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour?
Are you wondering why everyone else can stop at 1 while you head to a dodgy after-party with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a deeper look at your relationship with your reliable social crutch, alcohol.
On each episode, we'll investigate our own dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out if it's possible to stop this deeply ingrained habit before things get too messy.
Yep, we're going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up from a booze coma each weekend with a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health.
Hamish and I are here to delve into what it's like being sober, an unwanted warts and all look into why giving up those cheeky pints or putting down those mummy wines will make you feel happier, help your anxiety and mental health, and turn you into the most sparkly, authentic version of you.
Won't that mean I become boring though, Vic?
Well, Hamish, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Hamish Adams-Cairns.
And this is Sober Awkward. I got a couple of texts yesterday morning from various mums at school, Hamish.
Tell me.
I had messages asking if Nellie had been bitten by a snake and had she been in hospital all weekend. And I was like,
being told.
What's this all about, considering we hadn't been in hospital and she hadn't been bitten by a snake? So I said to her, did you tell your friends that you were bitten by a snake, Nellie? And she said no, but then she turned to me 5 minutes later crying, saying, I did, and I told them I had a sucky machine to suck the venom out and I was in hospital all weekend. So she was absolutely traumatised and had to go into school and apologise, and everybody in the whole school found out that she had not been bitten by a snake. So yeah,
that makes my insides crawl.
I know,
I can
poor thing.
understand what that feeling is.
Yeah.
Go in there and tell them that you broke their toy, or go in there and tell your dad what you've done.
Yeah,
it's that total fear of going in and having to fess up to something.
Poor Nellie, I did feel sorry for her. She was so upset. She thought everyone was going to hate her forever. We said, it's okay, just got to go and tell the truth. Poor little thing. But funnily enough, the dog was barking today, and there is a python under the house this morning.
I know. Well, yeah. I did say, when you told me that story yesterday morning, I was like, do we just get a snake to bite her? Is that the easy way out?
Well, it can be arranged today.
Yeah.
I think if you go and crawl around under the house for 5 minutes, there's a massive one underneath.
I'll just swing her around under there.
Yeah.
We can
Nellie,
save this.
There's a ball under the house.
There's a big glitter ball under the house.
Yeah.
But she was in quite good spirits. She picked us up from the airport yesterday, and she was in quite good spirits. So I didn't even want to ask how was school because I didn't want to bring it up. But I think maybe
she was all right. She fessed up.
Yeah, that's big. She's
brave.
A bigger human than I.
Yeah, but then she did tell another little fib afterwards. So we're having talks about fibs in our house at the moment. Yeah, she's a lovely girl.
We've told worse.
We've told worse. Yeah. Oh, funny. So it's a big day today, Hamish, isn't it?
It is a big day.
Yeah. Right. Well, go on and sing for me.
Do I have to? Oh, not this again.
The mouth trumpet.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Vic. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, lovely singing voice you have.
Thank you. Not your actual birthday.
No, it's my sober birthday.
That's it. 10th of March.
10th of March, the Soberversary, yes. 5 years without a drop of grog.
Wow.
Can you believe it, Hamish?
I can. But I've only known you for 2 of the years when you've not even been anywhere near any grog.
I know, of course. And
maybe
for me,
if I'd known the 20-year-old you, I would have gone, this day would never come.
This is a miracle.
This is a miracle.
I think you would have done, actually.
Yeah.
Or you would have not been sat here because I would have been in a grave. You would have thought, that girl's never going to make it.
Although when you're in a grave, dry.
Yeah, true. That's
Very
true.
dry.
I would have been sober.
More importantly, can you believe you've made it?
I know, I can't believe I've made it. It does feel like a miracle. It was such a huge part of my life that to now never do it again, I mean, it's such a relief. It's not a horrible feeling, it's a good feeling. I mean, it's 5 years since I hung around with a toilet, Hamish, that was flecked with kebab meat.
Lovely.
5 years since I upset a taxi driver. 5 years since I fell down any stairs. Well, I'm a bit stumbly and old now. No. 5 years since I had a hangover, which is amazing. 5 years since I did the human podium at a nightclub. Mm-hmm. And 5 years since I stopped talking shit and dribbling on strangers.
You still talk. You literally talk shit for a job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
I've been asking you what you want as a gift and if you're doing anything special. You keep telling me you've got no idea. Why? This is a party. Parties have gifts.
Well, last time I celebrated, it was my 1,000 days. I ended up going big, huge in fact, and I felt disappointed afterwards. So I don't want others to feel flat on this special day. I thought it would be a great idea to talk about the Soberversary, how to celebrate this amazing feat of you giving up the crazy juice, and what I have learned in those 5 years, and how doing what you enjoy over what you feel like you should do will ensure your Soberversary is not a failure.
So today we're going to give you the sober awkward guide to a happy soberversary. I hate that word.
I know, it is a stupid word.
Isn't it? Did you invent it?
No, I didn't invent it. Somebody else did.
It's a bit of a mouthful. Can we think of something else?
Well, of course we can, Hamish.
Okay.
I've come up with a few.
Yeah, sure you have.
But you know I like writing these stupid things, so it's like my favourite pastime.
It's the highlight of your day.
So here are my new words for Soberversary.
Okay.
Me againsery.
That is much worse.
Life backabration.
I don't understand that one.
It's like a celebration, but it's a life backabration.
Jeez.
Rebirth day.
Okay,
that's quite good.
That's just the right side of cheesy for me.
Okay,
I can
good.
get on board
Excellent.
with
The Clear Head Carnival.
that. Okay.
The Authenticity Jamboree.
That sounds like a dance.
Yeah. It's a jig. Not waking up with sick on my t-shirt day party.
You have young children. There's no guarantee. You also had a child with projectile this week.
Oh, yes, we've had a few vomit and snakes this week. The fizzy water fete.
Okay, yeah, that's a party that neither of us want to go to.
Do you like those, Hamish?
I like fizzy water.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to go to a full fete celebrating it. Yeah.
That would be my idea of heaven. The fate of the fizzy waters.
Yeah, no, let's just stick to Soberversary. Those are just a little bit shit.
Oh yeah, fair enough. It wasn't my highlight of my writing, I can promise you.
We wanted to cover this today, not only to celebrate with Vic, but also to answer the question of how to celebrate such a momentous day.
Yep, we want to find out why these annual milestones feel so huge and take a look at different ways you can give yourself a pat on the back on being so bloody incredible. We hope by the end of this episode you'll be jogging instead of stumbling towards your first sober birthday with a good idea of how you want to spend your day, what treats you want to buy yourself, why it can help to count days in sobriety, and also find out if it's okay to tell every single person you know about how brilliant you are and about how wonderful sober life actually is.
Yes, telling people that have no interest in sobriety about your Soberversary means you might come across like you've joined a cult or been let out of a special secure unit.
Which is something I do every day, Hamish, which is really embarrassing and I hate myself for it, which we are going to go into a bit later.
You come out of a special care unit.
Yeah, I've come out of No. It's my bedroom.
Every day, special secure
I'm
unit.
going to the special care
You
unit.
escape every day and every night. John and I drive you back there.
Yeah. Actually, I have done both those things, Hamish. It's just part of the journey, isn't it? I'm proud of my cult days and straitjacket days, quite honestly, Hamish. Makes me who I am. Also, the term Soberversary, Hamish, it is trending.
Cannot believe it.
I know. It is. I can't believe it either. It's a popular hashtag on Insta and Twitter. The great thing about the term, even if it is a mouthful, is that people were compelled to hide alcohol issues in the past behind closed doors, and they are now sharing their achievements while subtly hinting at the struggle. What I mean by that, Hamish, is people saying it's my Soberversary means there is a story behind it without telling you the story, which I do quite find intriguing.
Yes.
It helps dispel some of the stigma and shame around alcohol misuse disorder. So just by using the word, I think it helps people understand that you don't have to know the story, but know that there is one there.
True. Yeah, it sort of tells the story in one word, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sober, which probably means at some point I struggled with booze.
Yes.
And now I'm celebrating the fact that I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's lovely.
Just the existence of the term means people are able to celebrate sobriety with pride. It lends dignity and respect to those in recovery. Soberversaries are actually testaments to how far a person has come.
People are starting to shed the anonymity and celebrate the wins publicly. This leads to there being loads of Soberversary products online. Instead of AA chips dangling on key rings, people are buying other products to represent their journey. Mugs, balloons, cards, etc. A positive trend, a message of overcoming adversity and breaking free from alcohol. We love it.
Let's start talking about those numbers. So time to open our little apps.
I can see you fiddling on your
I'd forgotten this bit was coming
Come
up.
on,
Now
open it up.
panicking, trying to find
Well,
my
I'll tell you
app.
mine because I
Okay.
know mine because it's obviously
5
5 years. Yeah. Mine is 1,825 days, which is 5 years today. 10th of March is my day. What about you?
So my day is July the 11th. So July 11th to today, which is the 10th of March, makes me 243 days sober.
They're getting big, those
It's the big
numbers.
243, a day worth celebrating, actually.
Yeah, we'll celebrate the 243.
Can you remember what you did on your day 243?
Probably nothing. Cleaned the house, cleaned up dog vomit again, did some washing up. Do you like having a counting app, Haim? I mean, how do you feel when you look at those numbers?
So I actually feel slightly conflicted about the counting app.
Okay.
So on the one hand, when I check it and it's a big-ish number, I like it. I'm sort of can see myself sliding into liking it a bit too much.
Oh, interesting.
And the reason I say that is that I think if you were to ever relapse or to have a day when you slip up, then I can feel that I would really beat myself up. I'm sure a lot of people would beat themselves up in restarting the clock.
Yeah.
So part of me loves the app. Part of me wants to disassociate from the app because the number doesn't really matter. It's being sober that matters. The number getting bigger and bigger every day shouldn't matter.
And actually,
but it
it's
does
not,
to me.
Yeah, but it's actually not even being sober that matters. It's just trying to be sober. I think that's
Yeah.
the point, isn't it? And you need an app that shows that you're trying rather than one that you're winning on, because sometimes you're not winning all the time. Like some
Yeah.
people aren't, you know.
But that's how I feel about it. Like, I feel like I could get addictive to it. Like
Yes.
I don't check it very often. It was complete fluke that I checked it on the 200-day day. I knew it was around that time. I happened to check. But I kind of feel like in your first year, every 50 to 100 days is worth a mention. And then once you get over your first year, then you probably just count in years from now on, right?
Yes, I can.
You're not
yes,
celebrating
Yeah. No, I'm still counting
20
days.
months.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, fair. How do you feel about it?
I do enjoy checking in when I do. I like looking for those big numbers, as you say now.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for the little ones. I feel proud. I like seeing on the app how much money I've saved. I think that's always
I
a good,
haven't got that one.
But then it says how much money you've saved, but I actually haven't saved any money.
No.
Like I haven't got more money from giving up drinking.
And true. And also, we did that whole episode on money. And I reckon the number that they quote in that app is a fraction of what it actually is.
So do I, because I think you put in, and you probably underestimate, they say how much do you drink in a week when you enter the app,
Yeah.
so that it can work out how much you haven't drunk. And mine was like, I was thinking I was underestimating. I probably like when you go to the doctors,
gonna say.
he says like how many glasses of wine do you drink? You're like, oh, 1 or 2, where you're really drinking a bottle a night.
Do you still smoke? No.
Yeah, no,
When was
no,
the last
doctor,
time you
no,
drank?
doctor,
No,
yeah.
never.
Exercise every day. And I think I probably underestimated. So I generally tend to double that amount, but that double amount is not sitting in my bank, that's for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
So when it says money saved, it means money not spent on alcohol, i.e. money spent on chocolate.
That would be more fun. If you give up alcohol today, instead of getting the app when they count the money, every time when you would have bought a drink,
Yes.
transfer that amount
Yes.
into a bank that you can never withdraw
That
the
is
money from.
I mean, that is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Get an app where you would spend the money. That is a brilliant idea, and it's like a savings app.
And it's like a 5-year bank lock. And then
Yes.
5 years Soberversary, you have access. What's the number in your app now?
Oh my
20 grand,
God,
50 grand?
1825. Oh, it's like 50 grand or
50
something.
grand. Okay, so
yeah.
on your 5-year anniversary, you have 50 grand.
Yeah.
To probably spend not doing anything at all, as we will talk about.
Or buy loads of
over
booze.
The course. That's
Yeah,
the risk.
but that could be a
That
trigger,
is the
couldn't it?
risk,
Having
yeah.
that money suddenly on your Soberversary and go, I need to celebrate. I'm sure a lot of people relapse when they...
Donate it to charity.
Yes, donate it
That's
to
what
charity.
we'll
There
do.
you go. Yeah. Our charity, soberawkward.com.
It's Patreon.
Patreon, yeah. We're a charity, me and Hamish, sat in a room full of dog sick.
Just help us out. Help us clean this place
I
up.
can't believe you can adopt me in on that one, Hamish. I'm embarrassed.
That was
Okay.
not rehearsed.
Yeah, that's not rehearsed. No. I feel astonished when I look at that app and see those numbers. Seeing how many drinks I've not consumed is amazing. I think, God, what a waste of time. Like, what a waste of life that I was drinking all the time. My app shows calories too. I'm not sure how this works, but I must have replaced them with cheese because I'm exactly the same weight as I always have been.
So, without revealing anything and with no judgment, can I get some of these stats? So we know you're 5 years sober today. What does that mean in terms of the calories or the drinks you've not had or the money you've saved? What does it say on the app?
Okay, it says drinks not consumed 3,620. So I guess if I was binge drinking, I saved them up to the weekend. That would probably be about right, actually.
Week, yeah.
It's saying I saved $18,000 in 5 years. I would say it would be at least 3 times that.
Easy.
Because it wasn't me buying just drinks for myself. It would be me buying rounds and buying drinks for parties and all those things that are not added on there.
And the medical fees.
I would say it'd be more
taxis.
like $100,000 at least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I've got $100,000 from to spend on booze.
No.
God, that's bonkers,
Don't
isn't
even
it?
tell yourself it's $100,000. You're depressed that you haven't got
That is
$100,000 in the
depressing,
bank.
yeah. It says calories saved 553 million.
Wow.
But where's that gone, Hamish?
Well,
I should be a waif.
you shouldn't exist.
I shouldn't exist.
You should have died through malnutrition
Surely,
by now.
calories saved 553
Half
million.
a billion calories.
This app, what is wrong with it? Where are those calories gone? Just floated off in the air, farted out of my bottom. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
That is a good app. What app do you use?
It's called Done Drinking.
Okay, that's a good one.
It's just the days that I look at, really, just so I can hit those big milestones.
All the others are depressing. The days are encouraging. Every other number you just read is purely depressing.
Just get one with the days on.
Just get the good news one.
Yeah. There are so many apps out there to log your path in sobriety. Done Drinking is my one. There's Sober Grid, Sobriety Counter, Nomo, I Am Sober, Happify. Whatever one you choose, it doesn't really matter. Having a log of your days is brilliant in early sobriety. These apps can aid you if you have cravings, remind you how far you've come, and help you calculate when a big milestone is just around the corner.
Some of the apps even allow for slip-up days that don't take you right back to zero. Just skips a day at the end of the year, so you get a total like 365 minus 1. That way you can see your progress rather than feel bad. Remember, those slip-ups are what lead to long-term sobriety. I think that's awesome that an app does that.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Gets rid of my...
Yeah, there's no shame then, is there?
Yeah.
I also think it's important to say, don't count days if it makes you feel uncomfortable. It is not for everyone. You have to do what feels right for you. If you just feel like, right, I'm going to be sober now and I'm going to be sober forever, then counting days might not be helpful to you, and you just look forward and that's it. And it just, you just live your life. But yeah, it works for me. You quite enjoy checking in sometimes, but it isn't for everybody.
For sure. I'm actually really looking forward to my Soberversary later this year. And I think I'm going to love this episode because it's going to help me plan that big day. What other dates do you celebrate, Vic?
Well, I think the first
Not just generally.
Yeah, just generally.
I just love
Christmas.
June 9th.
Easter. I think the first one is the first year, is the obvious one. I think for some people it's the first month, and then others it's the first 100 days.
That's what I'm saying. The first year you get quite a lot.
There's a lot in the first year.
30 days, 100 days, 200 days, 300 days.
Yes.
And you get quite a lot there. It's quite nice.
Yeah, everybody posts on the 100th day. That's quite a common one. Then you have the 2 years, obviously, but then the other big one is the 1,000 days, just before 3 years. That's the day I really splashed out, Hamish.
Okay, well, splashing out sounds fun.
Yep.
What did you do?
I think it's more of a matter of what I shouldn't have done, actually. These are the lessons that we learn on this podcast, is by Hamish and I's huge mistakes that we often make in our lives.
Don't do anything that we did.
Yeah.
Just learn from our cock-ups. That is our biggest lesson that we can offer you.
Yeah. So true. I mean, for my 1,000 days, my husband took the day off work. I booked a massage. I booked a nice restaurant and bought myself a nice dress. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Sounds amazing on paper.
Yeah. So I wanted to treat myself. So I paid for the most expensive massage in the history of humankind.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how much it was.
I want to ask, but I won't.
No. I'm just going to say
how long it went for.
it was an hour each and then a foot massage after. So it was 2 hours. So it was 4 hours, really, because it was my husband and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're in the same room?
In the same room.
Nice.
I thought it'd be romantic, but it wasn't. And it hurt. So this is the issue with it. It really hurt. And you know when you go to massages and it hurts so much, but you think, well, they must know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's, first of all, it's expensive. Second of all, I'm in a posh place, so I didn't feel like I complain.
Or scream.
And I think, well, they've got to know what they're doing. So she was really hurting me and I was nearly crying and it was 2 hours.
Was John in pain as well?
I couldn't look at him. I just was too embarrassed.
You haven't debriefed since.
No, I think we did afterwards. I think his was all right, but mine was painful. So it was the most expensive thing in the world, and it hurt.
Where was she pushing you that hurt?
All over, everywhere.
Really?
Especially on the calves.
Okay. Was she going elbows?
I've got very muscly calves.
Quick brag.
I'm like one of those kangaroos. You know those beefy kangaroos you see sometimes on the news? They're really muscly. I'm like fat everywhere else in my body, but my calves are like Pele.
If you were on Tinder today, would it just be calf?
Yeah, just be calf.
Just a whole slideshow of calf.
With a tape measure around. Look at the thickness of these babies.
Just a video of your calves lifting weights.
Well, you're an ankle man, though, aren't you, Hamish?
I am an ankle guy.
Yeah, you wouldn't be turned on by my calfage.
No, it's too high. Too high up the leg for me.
Anyway, the girl was moody as well. You know, you always have that nice posh tea in a massage place. It was cold. There was no snacks. They gave me a glass of champagne, even though I said it was a Soberversary. I was like, nah, that's not why I'm here. The whole ordeal was painful, and it was painful for my pocket as well. I left feeling ripped off with a slight limp.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not a good experience. Then we went out for lunch, booked a nice restaurant. Also a rip-off. Shit food. Treating myself was torturing, in fact, that day. So all the things that I'd done, I went splashed out big time. I told the waiter there it was my Soberversary, and he made a scared face at me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like sort of recoiled in horror.
The issue with telling people something like that is you assume they give a shit.
Okay, this is my problem.
Did I tell you about the time when I proposed to Liz?
Yeah.
And then we went immediately to this sort of fancy hotel which had a nice reception area with a bar. And I went there and I said, 2 drinks, please. Just proposed to my girlfriend. And she just looked at me and she went, $15.60.
Oh my God. Do you remember when I went to the bookshop and told the people that, hi guys, I've been here many times in the last month taking a photograph of myself, manifesting that one day I'll be signing my book here. And the guy looked at me and went, you going to buy anything then? Maybe we're just overexcitable, Hamish.
That's it. That's what we expect to be matched.
I'm going to go into this in a minute because it is a bad trait of mine. My husband, of course, didn't get paid that day. The new dress split up the side and I had to take it back. Bloody TK Maxx, I have to say about that one. Everything always breaks.
Yeah.
So don't sue us, TK Maxx.
Did they give you a refund?
No, I think I just changed it and then the next thing broke as well.
You've cost us a potential sponsor.
Yeah,
TK Maxx deleting the email they're about to send.
Yeah, the suing is going to happen. Yeah, so basically I went too hard on my Soberversary on my 1,000 days.
So your advice to us would be don't go too hard, is that right?
Well, it felt so huge to me that I pulled out all the big guns when I really should have kept it simple and really focused on doing something that I love and that doesn't leave me full of regret and a piggy bank that no longer jangles.
Well, I would say that massages and a nice meal with your husband, those are things that you would love.
Yeah, but take it down a notch.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't book the most expensive massage in the
Take
entire
somebody else's
history of the world.
husband to McDonald's.
Yeah, I'll just get your friend to give you a little shoulder massage or something. It's much more simple. Yeah. Any ideas how you want to spend your first Soberversary, Hamish, coming up soon?
So my worry, like I mentioned, is that nobody actually cares as much as you do. I guess a birthday or a wedding anniversary, everyone has a level of giving a shit.
Yeah.
Whereas your Soberversary, really, only you know the day. You know, maybe,
true.
I'm sure John knows it, but basically no one else is going to know. Now everyone will know it. You'll get messages every year on this day. Part of me wants to go fairly big because, 1 year is a big deal. And part of me is aware that it's a bit self-indulgent to tell everyone about a date that they don't know about and then invite them over to like celebrate me.
Yeah.
It's a bit wanky.
It is wanky.
So I think maybe I will take a leaf out of your book and do something just quite small.
Okay.
Just family, something at home, maybe with or I don't know if I want to do it with or without Sunny. It could be nice to have a day a few hours without Sunny. Like you babysat.
Oh yes,
for
I
us.
can. I'll babysit for you.
You babysat for us
that's
this
fine.
week on Valentine's.
I did.
A few weeks ago on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And that was quite nice for a meal.
Yeah,
I could
that
do
was
something
nice.
like that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what the balance that I want to find is not throwing a party, but having a nice day. That I think is the sweet spot. A party is a bit too much.
Yeah, I totally agree.
What would you do differently if you were going to redo that day today?
Okay, well, it's taken me 5 years, actually, Hamish, to work out what I enjoy in sobriety.
Okay. Have you had 4 bad Soberversaries?
No, not bad, but I just always went a bit over the top on them.
Okay.
Yeah. It's taken me all those days to know myself and understand what makes my heart sing.
What is that then? Sexy wrestling Russell Brand, night out at the proms, nudie swim, covering yourself with melting chocolate, and having Harry Styles lick it off.
I'm not into Harry Styles that much.
Are you not?
Well, he's all right, but I suppose I would let him nick chocolate off me if he wanted to.
If any of the One Direction gang were going to do it, would he be the one?
If they were desperate to do it, I would let them.
Who would you most like to lick chocolate off you?
My dog, Sandy, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so messed up.
Yeah. That is a bit, isn't it?
That's another one for the therapist.
If you would like to support the Sober Awkward podcast, we're excited to announce that we've joined Patreon. Patreon is a membership platform which allows you to give back for the content you love.
By buying Sober Awkward a cuppa once a month, we can keep the giggles coming and continue sharing our sobriety message.
By joining Patreon, you get access to Sober Awkward merch, extra content, special promos and loads more. Just find the link in the show notes or head to patreon.com and search for Sober Awkward.
And together we could learn how to feel the awkward and do it anyway.
For those of you listening in Australia,
Or anywhere in the world, really, but maybe you're planning a trip down under.
we're throwing a big party where we'll be recording a live episode of Sober Awkward for the first time ever.
How are you feeling about it, Vic? Scared? Excited? A little bit aroused?
All of the above, Hamish.
The event is taking place at the Met in Maroochydore on the Sunshine Coast on Thursday, the 27th of April.
Tickets are available through the Eventbrite website. Just type in Sober Awkward.
We'll also pop a link in the bio of our Sober Awkward Instagram page.
If you can't make it, we'll be selling tickets to watch the live stream on Cuppa.
We would love to see you there.
Yeah, all of One Direction sounds good, Hamish, as well as just participating in some of the more simple joys that life has to offer. I mean, it does sound cheesy, I know, but I think fireworks parties and the whole big shebang are not for me anymore. I'm not saying that's for everyone. Have a rave if you want to. Celebrate in style. But all I'm saying here is that I learned that doing loads and going large don't really make me happy anymore. Now, I think I would do just a picnic with my kids, a walk with some friends, or perhaps a cheap date with my husband. Nothing too extravagant.
Interesting bit, because I know my plan was to go big, but perhaps everyone does that early on because it feels huge. I was thinking carnival-style floats, fancy dress, cheese, pineapple on sticks, and maybe even a new mankini.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Liz wants me to. She does say that the elastic has gone in mine.
Well, I know,
It went
yes,
in
it's
about
going.
2016.
It's giving you a wedgie every time you go.
Well,
isn't
not
it?
enough of a wedgie, that's the issue.
Oh, not enough of a wedgie.
yeah,
I've never heard that as being a problem. Oh, excuse me, I haven't got enough of a wedgie today.
Well, yeah, it's more what goes on at the front if you're not getting enough wedgie at the back, which is
okay.
Liz's issue when running around publicly.
Chafing.
No, just public.
Displaying.
Just showing children your parts, basically, as you run past them.
Yeah, lovely.
See, I initially wanted the world to know about my achievement, and if I spent a bit too much money on it, then that so be it.
Yes, well, yeah, I think I might be on holiday for when your 1 year comes round. I'm not going to be coming to your carnival float, I think. What's the date again?
July 11th?
Yeah, I'm away.
It's weird, because we talked about your days away yesterday, and
Yes.
July 11th's not in the diary.
Carry on.
Okay, what about telling people? Is it okay to invite people and be overly excited about the Soberversary with people that don't drink?
Okay, this is the problem. We did discuss it briefly yesterday on our little day out, Hamish, is that I talk too much about sobriety to people that don't give a shit. So the perfect example was me at a kids' party on Saturday morning, and I was chatting to a woman, hello, how are you, where are you from? And I got a message that came up on my phone while we were chatting, and it beeped, and it was from someone going, I love your podcast, da da da. And I showed the woman the message.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I said, oh, look at this. I get these lovely messages because I'm excited and I'm proud and I didn't know what else to talk about. I said, oh, look at this lovely message I got. I said, I do a podcast and I get these lovely messages all the time. And she was sort of like,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like, why
She was
are you
standing at a
showing me
bar.
that? Yeah, it was, yeah. I went really red because I knew that I'd overstepped the mark, which I do all the time because I get excited and go, oh yeah, we get 100,000 downloads a month and la la la. I'm socially awkward anyway, but then when I don't know what to say, I brag about being sober.
Yes.
It's an issue for me, Hamish.
It's
I'm embarrassed by
interesting, isn't it?
myself.
I guess, yeah, if you were to meet someone new and have an hour conversation with them, it would come up. I'm
God,
not
it would.
sure if it would for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, it's awesome that you're proud of it. And then I do a podcast for a job is a cool conversation.
Yeah.
Talking to people about jobs is pretty dull, but a podcast is like something to cling on to and actually have a fun conversation about.
Yeah.
And it does open up interesting conversations. People then, who aren't sober often tell us about their path to maybe thinking about being sober.
Yes, I mean, that's why I do
it does
it, I
open
think.
up good conversations. I do get more bad, awkward reactions like that than good, positive ones.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm learning a little bit to try and keep it in, but I get very excited because I'm proud of what I've achieved in this 5 years.
Yeah.
I want to blurt it out. I want to vomit it on people. And it is really embarrassing and I've got to stop doing it. It's just, I don't know. I think it's important to pick your crowd on this one.
Okay.
I agree that most people don't really care, which is a shame. If somebody told me, I don't know though, if I was a drinker and somebody said it was their Soberversary, I probably would have turned my back and walked away on them, quite honestly.
No, you're polite. You would pretend to give a shit.
Maybe. Yeah, my pride spills over sometimes and it makes situations very awkward, Hamish. I will tell anyone that listens, but I think I need to start stepping back. I want to be a bit cooler about it. And so if they ask me what my job is, I will tell them, but I'm not just going to go, hello, I do a podcast, it gets 100,000 downloads. I just get overexcited. It is embarrassing. And I do apologise to anyone that's had to experience that, but I will try and do better.
I don't think you could be cooler. I think you just are the level of cool that you are.
Oh, yes,
And
I
then
like the way this is
that's
going.
just the way that you have to live your life. I don't think you can pretend to be... I don't think you can practice cool.
I think, Hamish, it has also something to do with our people-pleasing episode because, I went to this lovely evening the other evening, which was this paint and sip for my friend's birthday, but I do find myself filling in the silences quite a lot. It's just a habit that I have. I want to make people feel comfortable, so therefore I talk probably when no one else is, and I shouldn't be. And it is part of my people pleasing, and sometimes that means I have to bring up things that I'm doing because I don't know what else to talk about.
Yeah.
And that makes me look probably a bit self-indulgent, whereas in fact I'm just trying to ease the evening and make it a bit happier for everybody. It's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, I like having these conversations with you. You do always make me feel better. So let's talk about triggers quickly. A sober birthday can be a huge trigger for some people.
That was actually my first thought when you said I want to do an episode on this. I wondered how many people relapse on a Soberversary. Because you're proud of yourself, you're celebrating, you've saved X amount of money, you've saved X amount of calories. All of that can build up to go, God, you know what? Maybe I have been sober for 5 years. Maybe I can just have one. Like maybe I've cracked the back of it. Is that the saying? Broken the back of it?
Crack the spine?
Yeah, maybe I've just cracked the spine. Doesn't feel right. It feels like you're bending a book backwards to read it too much.
Opened a new chapter?
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
You're in the book world right now.
Break a leg, Hamish.
No, that's theatre.
Okay.
So, I wonder if people then get this sort of false confidence on a Soberversary and think maybe I can go back and just have one.
Yeah.
Just have a glass of champagne to celebrate and then relapse. That was my first thought when you talked about this, and I'll be interested to know how many people have actually done that. How many people have relapsed on that big day? Have you met anyone who relapsed on a birthday, or did you on a Soberversary, or did that thought ever even creep into your mind?
No, it's never crept into my mind personally, and I haven't met anyone that's relapsed on a Soberversary, but I'm sure it does happen all the time. I definitely agree with you.
Like your experience, you had a bad one. On a day when you're, God, I can't even celebrate this. Like, remember, I quite early on my sobriety had that really good day in my career, and I couldn't celebrate. I didn't celebrate.
You didn't know how to.
Yeah, Liz was in bed and Sunday was in bed, and I was just home alone, and this is so crap.
Yes.
And then thinking, a day like that, if it was times a million, it's your 5 years Soberversary and you've got nothing to do and you're bored.
Yeah.
It could easily happen.
It could easily happen, but I think the further along you are, the more you know that alcohol is not going to add anything to that situation, so it's completely pointless. But if you are feeling like that you feel like you might have one on your Soberversary, go and listen to our episode called Why One Will Hurt, because that will give you all the answers to why you shouldn't have that drink on that day. Yep, seeing those big numbers, Hamish, in your app and those days stricken off the calendar can make people feel in need of a reward, as you say. You might find yourself needing a drink on this day more than the previous 3, 6, 4. I actually had to look up the days of the year.
Yes.
I had to Google it, Hamish. Is that something? Is that an age thing?
What did you think it was?
I thought it was 352.
Okay, yes, you weren't miles
What are there 52 of? Is it the letters in the alphabet?
Yes. I would say yes. I'm not going to count now. It's not great
no,
audio.
it's 27, Hamish.
Oh, then what's 52?
I can't believe
there
is something that's 52 days in the year.
Just the alphabet twice.
What is fitness? 52 is a number, isn't it?
There is a significance of
I'm
52.
blushing, aren't I?
Yeah. I used to live at number 52.
Oh,
Maybe
there you
that's what
go.
you're thinking
52
about.
Acacia Road.
Englewood.
Banana Man lives there.
Just revealing addresses here. Don't come knock on our old doors.
You don't come knocking on our doors when it comes to maths, alphabets, anything to do with anything smarter than the ABCs. We're not here for you.
No, and that does bring up an interesting thought.
52 weeks in the year.
That's it. I bet everyone listening is going, obviously it's weeks of the year, you plonkers.
People are going to be tuning out right now. They're going to be switching off.
It took us that long.
These idiots. What is 52?
It's not the alphabet twice. It's weeks in the year. Okay, that is embarrassing. That kind of makes your 352 days in the year less dumb.
Yes,
you are in the right ballpark.
That's made me cry with laughter.
Is that the dumbest thing you've ever Googled?
Yeah, I think the dumbest thing I ever Googled was actually how many glasses of champagne can you drink when you're pregnant?
Oh, it's good, that.
Yeah.
It's good. I just hopped on before this to check what's the dumbest thing I Googled this week.
Yeah.
God, firstly, my Google searches are dull.
Right.
What's the nearest Coles to me came up more than once.
No, that's not dull. I find that
Coles
interesting.
is a supermarket
Yeah,
here.
how far was it? 1.7k?
It depends where I was.
Okay, yeah.
Because it came up more than once.
Yeah.
No, but I guess the most fun one was how did Ed Sheeran injure his foot?
Oh, okay, yes, because me and Hamish both went to the Ed Sheeran concert this week as well.
Yes.
Yeah. How did he injure his foot?
It was 2016. He basically took a year off travelling.
Yeah.
And he was in Iceland, and which is like the first place that they went, him and his girlfriend at the time. And he was seeing all these geysers. You know the geysers?
Oh, like dodgy geysers.
Yeah, like dodgy geysers.
Yeah.
So geysers are hot springs that sort of burst like miniature volcanoes, I guess.
Yeah.
And they stink, by the way. Which must be
it's
sodium.
eggy, yeah.
Sodium.
Don't drive.
Let's
don't
not. Sulfur. We're not gonna know.
Sulfur.
We'll Google
Yeah.
it. And he went off the track. Said, "Don't come off the track." And he did go off the track, and his foot went into a geyser. Oof. And he burnt, like he said, when he pulled his sock off, all of the skin came with it.
Oh, that's gross. Like a skin sock.
Yeah, like a skin sock.
Oh, gross.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Like a skin sock?
It's for Hannibal Lecter's, I think.
Okay. So that's what happened to his foot.
Okay,
so
interesting.
not the weirdest thing I've ever Googled, but just a little insight into my week.
Yes, fascinating,
There's
Hamish.
quite a lot Googling that night.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to rent a stadium?
Yeah.
How much does Ed Sheeran get paid to do a night at a stadium?
Yeah.
How many people fit in the Suncorp Stadium?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Googling that night.
Why is a t-shirt $75? That was my
that what it
Google.
was?
Yeah.
75.
$75 for a kid's t-shirt, yeah. I got one for my son.
I got 4.
Yeah, I got 4, yeah.
That's even minted.
It's blowing out. It's my Soberversary, wasn't it? Yeah. I just wanted to add a little thing here that I think it's important to say. It's not just the celebratory side for me about Soberversaries that's important to me. It's also a form of mourning a former identity.
Yeah.
It does sound a bit morbid, but it's not, I promise. Ruminating about how I was before alcohol and during the darker times, I actually enjoy a little bit. It's a bit strange. Those thoughts and emotions can make me feel a little bit sad, but simultaneously remind me of how far I've come. I think it's good to remember the past if it's not a trigger, and remember it now with pride and an understanding that this was my path and I had to tread it to get exactly to where I am today. And I'm grateful for my alcohol issues. I think that's a good stage to get to, is to say I'm actually grateful. I don't have any regret because it means now I can tell my story and help people.
Yes.
So do you see what I'm saying there?
I see what you're saying. Actually, this came up yesterday. So yesterday, Vic and I had this weird day when we basically went to Melbourne for
2 hours. Yeah.
There's a new airline where we live, and they did their first ever flights to Victoria. That's not why we got invited. It wasn't
because my name is Victoria.
So we got flown down, and it was an early morning flight. And at 9:30, the person in the row behind us said, "Is it too early for a drink?" And you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe people are thinking about drinking at this time."
Yeah.
And my thought was, "Oh God, like, does that annoy you? Like, would that ruin your day that everyone around us is going to get pissed today because it was free drinks?" And you're like, "No, it's just huge relief that I don't have to think about that anymore."
Yeah.
I guess that's sort of what you're talking about here,
Yeah.
is being grateful that you're at this stage now where you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yes, and I think everyone will get to this stage. If you're sober, I know it feels difficult at the beginning, but the further you go with it, the more relaxed you become about it. And when you see people drinking, instead of being triggered or feeling annoyed or wanting a drink even, you just go, oh, I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. What a relief. Because I know their day. They were like thinking about wine at 10 o'clock in the morning. Then they're going to be thinking about the next one. And the whole day sort of evaporates around them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just becomes focused on the booze. I'm so glad to be looking beyond that now. It's a really interesting topic, this, actually, because it makes you reflect on the past and it can make you feel sad, but that's okay. Just to sit with those feelings and let it pass and be grateful for who you've become. Once you've felt the feels, it's a great idea to distract yourself. Like once you've sat with those feelings, you can reward yourself in different ways and choose to look forward instead of backwards into old habits.
So let's find out what some of the options are to help plan a fun and rewarding sober birthday.
Do something that you've never done before, like nothing life risking. Don't do bungee jumps. That would be a shame to your eyeballs to plop out.
Oh, you could do a bungee jump.
Yeah, oh God. For me, I'm saying I wouldn't do a bungee jump. You can do one, but don't do one because I've said we should do one.
What have you never done before that you would do?
Eat a whole packet of Brussels sprouts.
Interesting.
That's about as risky as I go.
That's as rock and roll as it gets.
Yeah.
You know, I went rock and roll yesterday. I had a coffee at 1 p.m.
He's crazy, man. He had a coffee at 1 o'clock. I saw him doing it. I was thinking, Jesus, this guy, he is off his nuts. I thought, I did think to myself, should I have one? Should I have one? No, that is way out of control.
Didn't
and
sleep
guess
last
what?
night.
Didn't sleep last night.
I was like kicking myself.
Fragile little boy,
That's
aren't
the price you pay for being rock and roll. I get
Coffees after lunchtime.
Like me and Keith Richard have got a lot in common. I get it.
Yeah, he snorted his dad's ashes. So I don't know whether you've got that much in common.
And I
with
drank coffee after 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Potato.
So similar, you guys.
So
Yeah.
yes, doing something you've never done before. The next one is games night. A little games night with some close mates.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I love a games night.
Would you go Twister or
No.
are we like Scrabble?
No, I'd go Trivial Pursuit. I'd go General Knowledge quiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
a quiz.
All right.
Yeah. Mocktail party. Great idea.
Yes,
did it at
you
Christmas.
did it at
I love a
Christmas.
mocktail party. Just with some sober mates, I would recommend.
Not now though.
Because the
Sugar-free.
drinkers will just be like, oh, for fuck's sake, Where's the vodka?
True. Have a dinner out with those that matter,
Yes.
but choose somewhere shit. It's what we've learned
Yeah,
from
choose,
music.
choose somewhere cheap.
Yes, and
Cheap
choose
and
something
cheerful.
generally that maybe you've been there before.
Yeah.
And you know, hey, it's crap, but so the prices are low.
Yeah.
No disappointment.
I've written there, a long walk.
It's too dull.
It's
too dull.
I mean, that is what I did on my birthday last year, is I went for a long walk.
Were you alone?
No, I took some mates with me, went for a lovely long walk. Actually, that is my ideal,
Yeah, that
is a
is
long
nice.
walk now. Yeah, sad, isn't it?
I've just started watching an English TV show and they're always on long walks at night.
Oh, I'm watching it too now.
Happy Valley. Oh,
Yes.
they're not always on long walks. They're very rarely on long walks, but the last episode of series 2.
Okay, I've seen series 2, yeah.
I'm literally not giving away anything. They went for a walk.
They went for a
But they
walk.
walked through Yorkshire Dales and they were wearing wellies and Macs. And I was like, God, I miss those walks.
Do you know
walks
what?
here are bloody hot.
The only reason I watch those shows is because me and John go like, oh, God, England. Like,
Yeah.
they do the opposite.
It doesn't sell it.
We're
And
like,
I love
look at the rain. It's
Yorkshire.
raining all the time. And like, God, it's never sunny there, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I love Yorkshire. So I'm like selling England to Liz through that show. And the show paints England bad.
It does.
Obviously, it's about murderer, but it's
Yeah.
like grey
That doesn't help.
and raining and often like misty through the dales.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks bleak.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, a long walk, a painting class.
Yeah,
you
which
could
I
do.
did this week,
You
which I
did.
thoroughly enjoyed.
You did the paint and sip without the sip.
Yep. And everyone was drinking kombucha, and I thought it made me realise that I was always the drinker. Actually, no one else was drinking.
Yeah,
so
that's
there you
quite
go.
nice. Really, any class could be fun though. You could do axe throwing, pottery, crochet, whatever tickles your turnip. How much do you enjoy writing that?
I just knew you hadn't seen it, and I was waiting for it. It's made me cry.
You wrote it this morning.
Tickled, yeah. I did it last night. Tickled your turnip, dear, oh dear. A comedy night. Good idea. Something to make you laugh.
But I used to work in a comedy club, very booze soaked. So you've got to be
yes.
pretty confident if you're going to do a comedy.
Yes.
I would
With
say.
any of these, like try, maybe avoid places that are really boozy.
Yes, any show in the city. Vic and I did a show this week.
Yes, that was a good night out. A night away with a partner or friend. Or with a stranger would be a good idea as well.
Lovely. Check local events. Oh, you could go to a sober event. We've got our sober event coming up.
Yes.
We've done it. Yes, we'll be coming up on this episode.
Yes, actually, we've got an event coming up on the 27th of April. You can go onto Eventbrite and search Sober Awkward, and you'll find us doing a live episode of the podcast in Maroochydore. So go and buy tickets for that. There's 25 tickets left, guys. What's next, Hamish? Oh, a market. Go and wander around a market. Buy some turnips. That is what we recommend.
That's it. That's the best way to toast a Soberversary.
Basically, anything turnip related is what you should do on your Soberversary.
That's it. That's the key.
That is the key.
Go on a shopping trip.
Sober meet-up breakfast. Love meeting sober girls for breakfast. It always makes me happy to share and listen to stories about sobriety. I think sharing your Soberversary with sober mates is going to be much more better. Much more better than having it with mates that still drink, just because you can just relax and talk about alcohol the way that you want to. Make a cake, Hamish.
Make a cake.
Yeah.
Make your sober friends a cake.
Make your sober friends a cake and have some time alone reading a book on a beach.
Yeah, that
nice. Sounds boring, I know. Well, go on, what do you think about that?
Some of those to me sound boring, but I guess that in itself is the point.
It is the point.
Celebrating sober often will be more boring than perhaps your life before. So you need to reframe what you think of as boring. You need to reframe how you celebrate. You probably need to even reframe what boring means to you.
Definitely.
Because going for a nice walk is not necessarily boring when the alternative is pissing on a policeman.
Yeah, so true. I mean, yeah, you've got to kind of like definitely reframe that and remember why you're not drinking in the first place. If you take yourself back there and go, well, what's better exactly? Wandering around a market with some lovely friends with a coffee and a smoothie and having nice conversations, or dancing on a podium and then being sick on your jumper.
Yeah.
Like you've got to compare the two. And if it takes you a few minutes to sit down and compare those and choose the right one, that's okay. You've got to stop fantasizing about what alcohol was. It wasn't this amazing thing that made you a better person. It made you ill, and probably mentally ill, and gave you anxiety and all of these other things. You've got to remember the reality of it, I think.
And it's taken Vic 5 years to figure out exactly how she wants to celebrate this day. So don't beat yourself up. You don't get it right the first few years.
No. Keeping it simple with uncomplicated people is a good way to ensure the day doesn't trigger you and make you want to drink. Do cosy things that make you feel content and leave the chaos to the drinkers. It sounds silly, but holding the hands of my children is enough for me now. That is what really makes me happy.
You've got 3 children.
Yeah.
2 hands.
One holds each leg.
Oh, right.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I just lie on the floor like a starfish and they hold me.
Whilst you just weep and shake. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. Like, I always imagined that you would go massive for the days. You love parties. You love hosting parties.
Yeah.
So I thought this would be just another reason to do one.
Me too, but I'm finding the longer that I am sober, the quieter I become. I love that content line now, Hamish. I don't feel the need to be impressing others or shouting from the rooftops anymore unless I'm at a children's party and in an awkward situation. This podcast and my book have done enough of that. And I'm starting to see how Lucy felt when she stopped doing the podcast.
Yes.
She felt like that she had talked about sobriety. She had done her bit, then she put it in a box and put a little bow on it and put it into part of her life. And I can see how that happens for people. You've talked about it. You know, I obviously love doing this podcast and I'll always do it and talk about it. But I do know how people feel when it becomes just a part of their life rather than the main show.
Yeah. So it seems that in early sobriety, you may want to have a big shindig, eat cupcakes until you're sick, down mocktails and dance until sunrise. That was my plan anyway. And that can be great. You know, go mad if you want. You deserve to celebrate this wonderful achievement.
Yep, and I agree. Sobriety is hard, much harder than following the crowd and being a sheep and going to the pub every weekend. Quitting, sticking to it, and all your hard work en route must be celebrated in some way.
But as time passes, you might find that the need slows, and some time by yourself to reflect on the changes you've made with a book on a beach might be the only celebrating you require. Whatever you feel, sit with it, think about it, and do what makes you feel relaxed. Don't plan a massive party if it's going to trigger you. Remember your boundaries and celebrate your Soberversary how you want to. I think now, Vic, we will imagine you on a beach later on this afternoon reflecting on the last 5 years. But can you tell me and the listeners what this time has taught you and how it has changed your life?
Well, I'm just going to skim through these really and just say, like, all the highlights for me is that I just live a more content life. Now, I'm full of pride. I'm surprised at what I've achieved. I'm more present and in love with my family. I'm quieter. I'm happier. I don't really get anxiety anymore. I have boundaries. I know who I want to spend time with. I enjoy working on the bits about myself that I don't like. I appreciate simple things. I love writing. I love podcasting. I love life now more than anything. And knowing my kids have a choice about alcohol, that's the huge one. I mean, they're massive, all of those things. All of those things that I've listed are things that were never in my life before because I was so preoccupied by alcohol. And now I just have a much more functional life where my brain works and I'm happier and I know what I want and I can see a future for myself. Whereas before it was just all drowned out.
And I guess as every Soberversary passes by, all of those feelings will only get more exaggerated and more extreme. You know, 10 years Soberversary will just be more of this.
I hope
time
so.
too, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so, Hamish.
Well, your kids might be teenagers then, actually. You might not like them as much.
Yeah, probably. What about you? You're nearly 8 months. So
Yes.
What have you loved so far?
So, firstly, sober people get 2 birthdays, which makes me feel like the queen.
Yes, you are a bit like a queen.
So, yes, I like that straight away off the bat.
Yes, queen.
Thank you. But yeah, for me, it's been about time. I think being sober gives you a huge amount of time that you would have been in pubs, time that you would have been thinking about drinking, time that you would have been hungover. Suddenly you've got a lot of time on your hands, which I really, really enjoy, particularly given the fact I now have a young family. So I want to be around more for Sonny and more for Liz as well, trying to be a better husband. It also gives you that opportunity to get a load of new hobbies.
Yep.
Mostly yours are around turnips.
Yeah.
Mine have been around other things. And yeah, like I've said this before, but it is the thing that I think of the most in sobriety, which is that giving up booze is the least interesting part.
Yes.
It's everything that you learn from giving up the booze, which has been interesting for me. Being more confident, enter a situation sober that I would have drunk 100 times out of 100 before.
Yes.
And knowing that I'm a sort of round enough and interesting enough person without booze to be able to hold myself in conversation with anyone. So
That's a huge lift. That's a huge confidence lift, that. Yeah.
And I think a lot of us don't have that confidence and probably don't even know that we don't have that confidence when we're drinking.
Yeah, until you give up and then you realise, actually, I could have done this my whole life without alcohol being involved.
And I also feel a lot of pride in the fact that I am doing something, and many of you listening are doing something that most of the world either aren't doing or can't do.
Yeah.
You know, you're really doing something that millions of people find too challenging to even think about doing.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. It's a nice, rewarding feeling.
That is a lovely feeling, Hamish. I forgot to mention some of the people on Cuppa had written to us.
Yes.
To tell us quickly about some of the things they did on their Soberversaries, just to give you some extra ideas. Somebody says a healthy dose of self-love. We know what that means, Hamish, don't we?
I didn't want to say it.
A hot air balloon ride. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, haven't never done one of those.
I reckon I'll buy myself some new trainers and go for a meal. Someone else says a tattoo.
Okay.
A tattoo's a good one. That might be a bit of a challenge for us one day, Hamish.
No.
We could go and get a tattoo. Have you got any tattoos?
No, I don't. You?
I've got a few.
You do.
Yeah,
You've got feet.
Yeah. Other people said, I bought myself some jewellery, a heart pendant. Somebody else said they went to a pottery class and a drawing class. Someone said they ordered an expensive watch, which was to commemorate the occasion. I like the passing of time. A watch is a good one.
Anything that you buy yourself that is an item, or like the tattoo, or something that you wear, like the pendant, it's quite nice. It's quite a nice way to sort of remind yourself every day, something that you wear every day.
There's so many others on here, I can't even read them. Somebody else bought themselves an Apple TV. So I thought it was a good one. Massage comes up a lot. A beach walk and chill. Someone else is going camping. Gemstone jewellery. I mean, if you can afford that, of course, amazing. And book a family vacation if you can. Brilliant.
Yeah, booking a holiday is nice.
Booking a holiday is nice. I'm just going to end on a quote here, Hamish. Well, I got some cheesy ones today because I thought for the Soberversary, you've got to have a few cheesy ones, haven't you? I chose sober because I wanted a better life. I stay sober because I got one. Yeah, that's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
End it on that. That is true. That's true for everyone I've ever met that gets sober. It always is the better option. Shall we go and paint the town red now, Hamish?
No, we're just going to paint it a light ochre.
Oh.
Yeah. We're just going to highlight it gently.
Okay. But at least we could get some coconut water and some sugar-free jammy Dodgers on the way home.
Now we're talking.
Yes, that'd be
now
good.
It's a party.
It is my birthday.
Yeah.
Bit of jammy Dodgers on my birthday, innit? Thanks for listening, everybody. And happy Soberversary for anyone else out there. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you're questioning your relationship with booze, you're struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support.
Yeah, just talk to a mate about how you're feeling, contact a local doctor, find an AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yeah, just head to www.cuppa.community.
Remember, if you're questioning yourself, it might be time to seek support.
Even though this journey can be awkward, it is definitely worth it. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to review it, rate it, and share it with your mates.
Do they have to share it with their mates?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm not doing this for nothing, Hamish. Bloody hell.
How do they share it?
I don't know, just write it on